Covering news where you live, this is 5 News.
Well, today on Monday here, it is the final day to register to vote in Arkansas for the primary on March 5th. The Arkansas Secretary of State's website says your application has to be submitted 30 days before an election. Washington County is reporting there was a higher voter turnout in the 2020 primary election, but for this election, they are expecting a 50% voter turnout. The Benton County Clerk's office in Bentonville says that they plan to stay open until 6 this evening to process any last-minute applications. To find a full list of everything you need to know to register, just check it out at our website at 5newsonline.com. In the meantime, more than a dozen Republican governors, including Arkansas's Sarah Huckabee Sanders, gathered at the U.S.-Mexico border on Sunday. The town of Eagle Pass, Texas, has made national headlines as the symbol for struggles at the border. Now, this after the Supreme Court ruled that federal agents can remove wire barriers put up by the Texas National Guard. The meeting at the border was for a briefing on Texas Governor Greg Abbott's Operation Lone Star mission to secure the southern border. In total, 14 governors joined Abbott from neighboring states like Arkansas, Louisiana, to as far as Utah and New Hampshire. And Arkansas is expected to have a lot of money left over once this fiscal year ends. In past years, the state has seen surpluses into the billions. But as for 2024, while still in excess, it is expected to be down some. There's 5 months to go. But in this case, lower doesn't necessarily mean negative. Scott Harden with the Department of Finance and Administration says initially they forecasted the surplus for 2024 at $423 million. Now they've adjusted that down to $240 million.
What we were doing is adjusting primarily for the tax cuts that were passed late last year by the General Assembly and the governor.
Well, questions now are why the dip and how will it impact you? Well, the simple answer is tax cuts and returns. Governor Sanders has been working to eliminate the state's income tax, and more people are moving to Arkansas, expanding the tax base. Well, before we get to more stories in just a minute, let's get a check of that forecast with meteorologist Zach Scott. And Zach, it looks like it'll be a sunshiny day.
A good one. That's what we needed, Joe. We had the rain, we had the clouds, we had no sun during the weekend. We've got a comfortable day today. Plenty of sunshine going to boost us in the mid to upper 50s. Boston Mountains north. We get south of the mountains along the Arkansas River towards the Ouachitas. We've got temperatures getting more into those lower 60s. There will be a few upper 50s mixed in, but overall looking nice. That's just the start of a good work week. We've got temperatures similar to last week, running well above average. Last week we were 15 to 20 degrees above average. We're easily going to be 10 to 15 degrees above average. The seasonal average for this time of year, Northwest Arkansas, 50 degrees. Look at the jump up thanks to those southerly winds the next few days. We do have a weak front that comes in on Thursday and will give us a chance of a spotty shower. It's a Pacific front, not a big push of cold air on the backside, so it means we're still looking nice even as we go into Friday on the backside of that front, upper 60s to low 70s. Not a bad way to head into the weekend, Joe.
All right, thanks for that, Zach. Well, Arkansas ranks #1 in the United States for maternal mortality, and that statistic is even higher for Black women. Over the weekend, multiple organizations came together in Fort Smith for an event to spark the conversation on this issue. 5 News reporter Kayla Davis was there and has the story.
I was saying I was in so much pain, My little 5'2" self had a 10-pound kid, and I feel like if they had taken my pain level seriously, it would have never gotten to that place.
Leah James is a mother of 3. She says all 3 of her births were no walk in the park, from being bedridden for 2 months during her first pregnancy to an emergency C-section 11 years ago for the birth of her son.
Going into an emergency C-section and never have had surgery before, it was very traumatic. And so I feel like that could have been prevented if they would have listened to me and listened to my voice.
According to the Arkansas Department of Health, the natural state leads the country for the highest maternal mortality rate for all women. But Black women are almost twice as likely than white women to die from pregnancy-related complications. Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families partnered with the Fort Smith alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated to host a screening of the 2022 documentary, Aftershock. The film follows two fathers who lost their pregnant Black partners because they were disproportionately failed by the U.S. maternal health system.
We want to bring awareness and at the same time education of the various groups throughout the state of Arkansas that are trying to build the momentum to make sure that everyone across the state is aware of this situation that we're in right now.
And through conversations, change in policy.
We're hoping is that we'll have that conversation in the 2025 legislative session. So leading up all this year, we hope to increase the conversation around maternal health so that we can look forward to passing not just one piece of legislation, but a series of pieces of legislation so that we can get good outcomes and better outcomes for moms, because we can do better.
James says her experience is why she made the decision to begin training to become a doula.
I can honestly say that I can be in your shoes and feel empathetic. I can understand and meet you where you're at.
In Fort Smith, covering news where you live, Kayla Davis, 5 News.
Well, thank you for joining us here for the latest news and weather where you live. I'm Jo Ellison. Catch up with us again tomorrow right here for more.